I'm asked on a very regular basis for riders who want to come do training with me, what can they practice before they show up at training? And I'll tell you, Richard, the problem is that I don't want you guys practicing skill sets that they don't know what they are yet. Because then you've dealt with this.
Yes.
Now we have to break bad habits, but that doesn't mean there aren't things you can do to prepare for the class. What you really need to focus on is your physical strength and your flexibility. And the thing that I struggle with the most when they show up, or when you guys show up, if you come train with me, is mounting and dismounting a motorcycle. Believe it or not, a simple thing like that, because there's more to it. When we're off-road, we don't go to the seat. If all we have to do is get onto the motorcycle, then this works just fine, right? It works. We see street riders do this all the time. But we have to be able to go straight up to pegs. So one, we need to be able to step up onto the motorcycle. The other thing is if we're off the motorcycle and we're down low and we're already in a balanced position, I have to be able to stand from beside the bike and then be able to stand straight up. And I need to be able to do that without holding on to the handlebars, because when you hold on to the handlebars, you make your motorcycle unstable. And those are the things we need to focus on. Actually, the last thing, and you brought this up, flexibility.
Yes.
That was, so he rides dirt bikes and he rides Harleys. But not adventure bikes. So Richard here runs the gym, CrossFit Forge 208 in Caldwell, Idaho. And although he's a fantastic coach and he runs a great gym,
thanks.
You are not an adventure rider.
No.
And the first thing we started doing when he tried to get over the bike was?
Stressed out.
Yeah, and started hooking his foot, right? Because it's a different type of motion than what we're normally
couldn't get my leg.
doing.
Yep.
And that's why we opened up the gym. We have a bunch of activities here so that you guys will be prepared when you show up for class. All right, let me fire off.
All right, so let's get into some things we can do. And we're going to start with a very basic. We're going to get up there and we're going to start learning to build these legs up. We're going to get those quads built up. And we're going to start doing some step-ups. I'm 5'7", this is a 20-inch box. You don't have to use a 20-inch box. You don't have to use a gym. You can stay at home. You can use a step. You can use a bench, whatever you want to use, whatever you have at home that you can step up on. So what we're going to do is we're going to start stepping up on this. We're going to start building those quads and building those legs in there. We're just going to step up and come right back down with the same leg. I like to alternate at the bottom, and I'll come back up with my left and back up. We can alternate through that. Start stepping up and stepping down. Now as we get better and stronger on those legs, we're going to start using one leg and let that leg burn and build that leg on there. So we're going to start stepping up, come up, and step right back down. And then back up and back down. Keep that back. I'm not leaning forward. I'm standing straight up onto that box. Now my leg's tired. I'm going to use the other leg and now step up on this one. Come up and touch. Go back down and back up, touch, and back down. So I'm starting to feel that burn on that leg. Now I can alternate again. This is a great thing to do at home. Anywhere you want. You don't need a gym. Get on there and start building those up before you ride. Brett, what do you have?
This one is very realistic. It's a box step, but this one ties us into the way it is on the motorcycle. If you think about it, or imagine that I'm straddling the motorcycle, which means that my leg's going to kind of rotate and point that direction. We don't straddle pointing forward, right? We should be beside the motorcycle. So my foot is kind of pointed that direction, my leg is pointed this direction, and I have a wide gap. I'm not next to the box doing a box step here, all the way out here. Now from here, I want to be able to stand up and I'm going to balance. I'm not going to touch with my foot. I'm just going to come into a balance point and then back down. Again, distance. There's a motorcycle here. So I step up over the motorcycle and back down. When we're riding, we should be able to go up onto those pegs and be balanced and then bring our foot up to the other foot peg rather than rushing onto the bike and trying to stay in control. That's not going to give us the control we need. Just up and back down, up. All right, Richard, back to you.
Thank you. So Brett brought these motorcycles in, and I found that I had a problem. Once I was trying to step over, I would swing my back leg over, and I would hit that back rack or that back end of that. I'm used to just swinging that leg over. I found that didn't work well. So we came up with this idea with this, so you can work on that getting to step over. So what we set this bar at, I'm 5'7", and here's that bar. It's right at my groin level. we're going to use this. I'm going to use this bar for balance. I'm going to swing that leg over, but I'm going to keep it close. And so I'm not hitting that stuff in the back end of that rack on those motorcycles. Again, I'm going to keep this, step over and through. As we get better and our legs get stronger, we get a little more balance. We won't need that bar. We're going to step over and through. And then again, back over and through. We're working on balance and mobility, lifting that leg high and keeping it close and getting over that bar. Okay. Back to you, Brett.
This is the most realistic setup that we've come up with. We have two 10-inch boxes. The standard height for a foot peg is usually somewhere around 12 inches. So between 10 to 16 inches is going to be realistic. And then we put a center bar here to represent the motorcycle. This is going to double up. When I step on the motorcycle, I'm usually stepping up onto the foot peg, and then I'm mounting the motorcycle. And we're going to do this as a drill where we just mount one side and dismount off the other. So as I step over, I'm going to keep this foot placed. I'm going to drop down behind. This way imagine I'm on the motorcycle. So if I'm holding this, this puts me in the same position as if I was actually on the motorcycle. As Richard already mentioned, I'm not swinging the leg back. That would really hurt if I hit my shins on this. I'm going to step through the bike onto the foot peg, over the bike, back down. Over the bike, onto the foot peg, back down to the ground. Hands off, over. Again, balance and strength and mobility. These are the three things we're focused on developing so that when you do come to class, you get absolutely as much as possible. It's winter time. It's hard to stay in shape. It's hard to stay in shape in the ways you need to stay in shape for riding a motorcycle. And that's the difference here. Thanks for watching the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters out there that keep this channel going. And thank you to Richard for letting us come into CrossFit Forge 208 here in Caldwell, for using his equipment and for using his knowledge. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.